RBI today did not give any surprises and there was no rate cut at all. Experts say this could be the overall, the picture could be wait and watch as far as RBI is concerned. And in December, they can go forward and take a decision whether to go for rate cut or not. And moving on, and Indian Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, who is currently visiting Bangladesh, has today launched cashless visa services in Dhaka. The same is being facilitated at Indian Visa Application Center in Dhaka. The cashless services have been launched in all 12 visa application centers in Bangladesh. The process is expected to reduce transaction time by as much as 44%. And our Bangladesh correspondent Saad Hamadi had something to say. He covered the whole overall picture. Let's hear what he had to say.
India's Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has introduced a cashless transaction for visa processing and a travel card with 5-year validity that Bangladeshis can use during their travel to India. In a talk on the macroeconomic initiatives by the government of India, Arun Jaitley has explained how a cashless transaction has revolutionized the financial transactions in India and brought about 42% of the population in India that was outside the financial networks. Earlier in the morning, he has signed the $4.5 billion credit line agreement that India is extending to Bangladesh for infrastructural development, which in effect will improve the regional connectivity. He has also witnessed the launching of the Exim Bank of India's Dhaka representative office that will be facilitating these credit lines. The finance ministers of the two respective countries have also signed a joint interpretive note on the agreements between Bangladesh and India to promote and protect investments between the two countries. In Dhaka, Saad Hamadi, WION.
And India's largest bank, State Bank of India, is going to have a new chairperson. He is going to be Rajneesh Kumar. Rajneesh Kumar was the MD of State Bank of India, and he will replace Arundhati Bhattacharya, who is currently the chairperson of State Bank of India. Rajneesh Kumar will be the new chairman of SBI. SBI's new head. He's going to be SBI, or State Bank of India, is India's largest lender, and SBI controls around 20% of India's loan and lending business. So SBI is going to get new head. Rajneesh Kumar will be the new head of SBI. He is going to replace Arundhati Bhattacharya, who is currently the chairperson. And global IT security firm QuickHeal has discovered an ad on Darknet forum that claims to offer data from more than 6,000 Indian firms. Reports suggest data from internet providers, government organizations and banks are up for sale on the dark web. A cyber intelligence lab tracked the advertisement where the unknown hacker has priced the information at 15 bitcoins, which is approximately rupees 42 lakh. Hacker is also offering network takedown of affected organization for an unspecified amount. Reports suggest organizations whose services may be at risk are Unique Identification Authority of India, UIDAI, Idea Telecom, BSE or Bombay Stock Exchange, Flipkart, DRDO, Aircel, Reserve Bank of India, BSNL, State Bank of India, TCS and various Indian state government portals. The affected organizations have been put on alert and urged to change passwords and also get their services patched with latest updates. And the US has backed India's objection to China's One Belt and One Road (OBOR) initiative, saying it passes through a disputed territory in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Hinting at China, the Trump administration also said no country should put itself into a position of dictating the Belt and Road Initiative. China is building $60 billion China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC, a flagship project of China's One Belt, One Road Initiative. The controversial CPEC corridor passes through Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, and that was the reason India skipped the Belt and Road Forum organized in China in May this year. India believed its participation in the project would have weakened its case on sovereignty over Gilgit-Baltistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. And after a new 2,000 rupee note, rupees 200 note, very soon Indians will get a rupees 100 note, which will be coming out in April next year. So the new 100 rupee note is on its way. Printing of new 200 notes is currently going on, and it will be over by March. After that, in April, rupees 100 note will be printed as well. New notes are likely to be of the same dimension and size, and same dimension will avoid recalibration of ATMs. So a new note of 100 rupee is going to come next year in April, which is the beginning of a new financial year as well. And India has approved Chinese smartphone maker Oppo's request to open single brand retail stores in the country, paving the way for Chinese firm to sell directly to consumers and add to its existing wholesale business. The move would help Oppo expand its reach in the world's third largest smartphone market, India, where global giants such as Apple have been trying to gain a foothold. The FIPB, or Foreign Investment Promotion Board, approved Oppo mobiles in India. India allows foreign firms to sell directly to consumers through the so-called single brand retail route. And let's take a look at the cities which are popular among tourists and where the tourists spend the most. The list of the cities has been topped by Dubai. And there are other cities as well, but Dubai is the place where tourists spend more than $20 billion annually. And this is the list that belongs to last year, 2016. So there is a whole list of cities where tourists spend the most, which are in the top chart as far as tourist spending is concerned. And we can see 2016 spend, Dubai $20.5 billion, London comes at $16 billion, and Singapore is at $15.9 billion. If we look at other cities, Bangkok, Thailand's capital, is $14.08 billion, while Paris, the spending is at $12 billion. And look at Tokyo, $11 billion, while Taipei, the Taiwan's capital, is at $9 billion. There are other cities also, and we can have a look at Seoul, the South Korea's capital, where people spend $9.38 billion, and Barcelona, Spain's capital, where people have spent $8.90 billion in last year. And let's stay with India's stories. Vodafone India and Idea Cellular merger deal is expected to be completed by March next year, as all regulatory approvals are likely to be obtained by that time. Both the companies are before National Company Law Tribunal for seeking its nod, after which they will need final approval from Department of Telecom. Idea will hold a meeting of shareholders and creditors on October 12 to seek their approval for amalgamation of Vodafone India's business with itself. Vodafone India and Idea had agreed to merge their operations to create country's largest telecom operator worth more than $23 billion with a 35% market share. The combined entity of Vodafone India and Idea, which are currently India's number 2 and 3, would dislodge Bharti Airtel to counter fierce price war in world's second largest telecom market, India. And internet giant Yahoo has said all 3 billion of its accounts were hacked in a 2013 data theft, tripling its earlier estimate of size of largest breach in history. So Yahoo said all 3 billion accounts were hacked 4 years ago, 2013, and this news would expand the number of class action lawsuits that have been filed against Yahoo. And Yahoo's deal with Verizon was first announced in July, and this announcement can put a spanner in deal between Verizon Communications and Yahoo. And Australia has been proven to be a laggard as far as the internet speed is concerned. Australia's $38 billion broadband network was meant to spearhead a digital revolution. Instead, the botched projects risked becoming a poster child for government mismanagement. So Australia has lagged in internet speed. Kenya, from Africa, Russia, and even Hungary, they are better than Australia when it comes to internet speeds. There are spiraling costs which have impacted Australia's internet project. And Australia's biggest ever infrastructure investment has turned into a political football plagued by cost overruns and construction delays. With the network years behind the original schedule and only about half finished, Australia has slumped to 15th place on a global ladder of internet speeds, behind Kenya and a string of former Soviet bloc nations. Public frustration with the project is boiling over amid mounting criticism that politics is trumping policy across a host of areas, from housing to energy, and damaging Australia's economic prospects as well. And let's go over to markets, where markets in India today, they actually started the day on a very flat note, but by the time they ended, they were trading in green. So Indian markets were trading in green. Sensex ended 174 points higher, while Nifty ended above 9920 mark. So good day for Indian markets when they started on a flat note, but by the time they ended, the market had turned green. So Sensex and Nifty both ended in green. And Sensex was up 174 points, while Nifty was up 55 points. Sensex is up 174 points, while Nifty was up 55 points. And we are joined by our analyst for today, this evening, Mr. Kunal Sarogi. Good evening to you, Mr. Sarogi. First of all, I would like to ask you, how do you see this RBI's policy and how did it impact the market today?
Well, I think the policy was largely on expected lines, and there is absolutely no surprise from that, which the market was expecting. So I think net-net, the policy has been a non-event, and it hasn't really affected the markets too much. Markets have taken the policy in its stride, and I expect for the markets to continue to trade in a range. And I think the impact of the policy would be short-lived.
To ask you, what should be the investment strategy of an investor in such markets? Today the markets opened flat, but by the time the day ended, the markets were in green. So what should be the investment strategy and any sectors that are on your radar?
See, about investment strategy, I think the strategy remains the same. I think one should wait and watch. Wait for the Nifty to break above 10,100 to buy. It's because that is where the major selling happens. So till the time markets are not able to take out that resistance, one should wait and watch. Lower levels, I think if the Nifty slides 9,700 or 9,500, those would be the levels to buy the Nifty. So for now, I think one should wait and watch for the markets to correct a bit or to break from a resistance before buying. As for sectors that we're focused on, I think we've seen a bit of short covering happen in most banking stocks. And I expect banking and financial stocks to outperform the market going forward. So government banks can be one sector that one could look at.
And going forward, what are the big factors to be looked out for this week, Mr. Sarogi? So Indian markets and global markets, as far as they are concerned, what are the big factors then that can move them?
Well, like I just said, I think financials and banks, I think, look the best on the charts. And so do pharma stocks, which are now beginning to form a base for themselves. We've seen a big correction in most of the pharma companies. So I think some pharma companies and the banks and the financial stocks, I think that is where one should focus on.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sarogi, for talking to us and getting us all these important details and perspective. As we can tell our viewers, today the markets ended in green zone, though they started day on a red territory. They were flat when they started the day, but when they ended, they were in green. If you look at markets, Sensex has ended up 0.55% and Nifty has ended up 0.56%. So over there, Indian markets ended in green. Over the last few sessions, they had actually slumped by 700 to 800 points, but slowly they are recovering. If you look at other global markets, Nikkei was up 0.06% today, and Hang Seng of Hong Kong was up 0.73% today. So most of the Asian markets ended in green. They were trading in green. That is correct thing to say. And Asian markets are still trading in green. As we can see, both Hang Seng and Nikkei are trading in green. Indian markets, though, started the day on a flattish tone, but when they ended the day, it was actually green. So that's all today we have in this edition of WION Wallet. For more news and updates, stay tuned to WION, and thanks for watching us.